A Souls-like based on one of the most iconic pieces of literature of all time, Black Myth: Wukong is set to offer brutally compelling combat to rival the likes of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice and Lies of P, while reimagining Wu Chengen's Journey to the West. Now, I've played a lot of Souls-like games, and I'm so excited about this one that I picked up the book it's based on. So stick around, as I'm James from FGS, and this is 7 things you need to know about Black Myth: Wukong. Number 1, the book that inspired everything. Journey to the West, also known as The Monkey King, is a 16th century Chinese novel telling the story of a cheeky primate called Sun Wukong, who was born from a rock and grew up to be king of other monkeys before studying Taoism, martial arts, transformation, and immortality, ultimately becoming the great sage equal to heaven. Honestly, this son is so impressive, he'll make Solaire fall for him. The tale doesn't stop there, with Sun rebelling against Heaven, sound familiar, Hades fans, and more hijinks, so it's clear that any game taking inspiration from this heavyweight tome has plenty to choose from, and it's work cut out for it when doing it justice. After all, the novel inspired the monumental Dragon Ball series and the Dark Souls games. Speaking of Dark Souls, number 2, another Souls-like. The impact of Dark Souls on the games industry can't be overstated, with copycats and all manner of inspired titles emerging, especially in recent years. I mean, you can't move for grueling combat, dubious NPCs, and poisonous swamps these days. That's fine with me though, as I gave plenty of hours to Lies of P in 2023, and I have another Crab's Treasure waiting for me in my backlog, which my boss is begging me to play. Black Myth: Wukong is yet another entry into the genre, which is fitting given the obvious impact Journey to the West had on the Dark Souls trilogy, such as beings getting punished for pursuing immortality and turning to ash. The question now is, will Black Myth do enough to stand out from the crowd? Trailers and previews for the game suggest so. With a Sekiro-esque fluidity to the staff-based combat, as well as 3 different postures to utilize in battle: smash form, pillar form, and thrust form. Players can also use magic and transform into different creatures. Fans of the book will be curious about how many spells and transformations are available, I'm sure. Personally, I'm more curious how, if at all, the devs will implement Sun's somersault ability, which is said to let him travel roughly 54,000 kilometers in one motion. My guess is it's the fast travel option. Number 3, limited previews. Despite being playable on the show floor at Gamescom 2023, the game has yet to be served up to press and influencers worldwide. Developer Game Science held an in-person event last year in Hangzhou, China, with over 1,000 people attending, including somebody from IGN, where players could go hands-on with a 45-minute demo. However, it was limited, with the level-up system not active during the session, and the devs are reported as saying they made changes based on customer feedback. As fun as this sounds, at time of writing, no such event has taken place in other nations, nor have any virtual sessions been offered to the best of our knowledge. There's no need to do this, of course, just worth noting as so often other game companies do. Could it be a case of a developer trying to break the established media cycle, or is it simply in an effort to spend their time and money on the actual development process above all? Either way, the limited access so far only fuels the mystique of this mythical title. And while we're on the subject of mysteries, one constant curiosity is how many people watch our videos without subscribing to the channel. So give that button a click and ease my mind, please? Or not, it's your life. I ain't your daddy. Unless... Number 4, the power of the generation. A quick look at any existing gameplay footage makes it clear Black Myth: Wukong is a visual delight. From the environments to the enemies, the enchanting art style is matched only by the level of detail. Add to that the fluid movement and combat, including a slow-mo perfect dodge mechanic as reported by Games Radar, and it's obvious that developer Game Science is making the most of Unreal Engine 5 with this project. With games getting prettier and prettier, especially PlayStation exclusives like Horizon Forbidden West and Ghost of Tsushima, UE5 is no doubt a big boon for Souls-like enthusiasts who are waiting on that true next-gen visual push. Don't get me wrong, Lies of P and Elden Ring are beautiful, and so is Rise of the Ronin when you actually play it, but Black Myth: Wukong has seen the stakes and is set to raise them when it releases. Number 5. Epic boss battles. Being a Souls-like game, you'd be forgiven for anticipating challenging, spectacular bosses designed to impress you as much as frustrate you. Well, based on the experiences of those lucky enough to play Black Myth: Wukong, it's safe to say you're on the money. From last year's demos and trailers released on YouTube, players have met bosses galore. There's Centipede Guai, a heavy-hitting enemy that can poison because you. This poison mechanic will drain your health unless you use an antidote potion, one of the game's consumable types, so Dark Souls veterans will feel at home against this nightmare insect. Then we have the Macaque Chief, no Cortana, I said macaque, who resides in a beautiful snow-covered area that hints at their ice attacks, as well as the Tiger Vanguard, who, as IGN reports, will play a role in the storyline as the NPC that imparts the stone solid skill to the protagonist. We're likely just scratching the surface with these fearsome fiends, so buckle up for some punishing fights. Number 6. Developer controversy. Now, we can't talk about Black Myth: Wukong without pointing out the controversy surrounding developer Game Science. The company has been accused multiple times of unprofessional conduct, particularly relating to women, from demeaning comments to creating a hostile work environment. In a report by IGN, they covered posts on Chinese social media site Weibo, written by individuals from the studio, that contain multiple references to genitalia and sexual innuendos. IGN spoke to several women familiar with gaming culture as well as the games and technology industry in China, with one person saying the studio has a notably negative reputation. One example of such toxic behavior came when lead artist and co-founder Yang Qi said while men were holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams, what the ladies are dreaming about are bags that would make their friends jealous. Then we have the words of a since deleted Jihu post by technical artist Dai Wei, who said a female character from Black Myth: Wukong, known as the Snake Spirit, can be masturbated to by looking at her more. Although I'm not used to the snake neck, I can still nurture that fetish, he added. The same report also mentions recruitment posters previously used by Game Science, featuring phrases mandatory self-pleasure and fatties should off. Unacceptable in any walk of life, let's be honest. How much these attitudes will affect the final game, we can't be sure, but don't be surprised if the controversies don't end here. Number 7. Release date and platforms. Black Myth: Wukong is set to release 20th of August 2024, coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. Sadly, there are no details of price or different editions of the game at this time, but you can wishlist it on Steam for more updates. And there's our 7 things you need to know about Black Myth: Wukong. Are you excited about this Souls-like epic? Is there anything else you'd like to know? Let us know in the comments, and stick with FGS for great gaming content every single day. I've been James, and thank you for watching, because you've made my day.
Oh, sweet destiny.